ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनक्ष्ण्वन्नोतिभिक्षीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती भाजेभिर्भाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रगवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरः ॐ श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां श्रीकण्ठाराध्यमध्यमां अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां सदाशिवं शिवां स्कन्दं केशवं पद्मसम्भवं नन्दीश्वरं कुम्भयोनिं भरद्वाजात्रिगौतमान् नमोऽस्तु गुरवे नित्यं श्रीकण्ठशिवयोगिने श्रुतिसारशिवविशिष्टाद्वैतपरभाष्यविदायिने जगद्गुरु श्रीकण्ठाराध्या रेणुकाराध्या मङ्गलं देहि प्रभो त्रैलोक्य संपदालेख्य समुल्लेखनभित्तये सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय शिवाय ब्रह्मणे नमः यामाकुक् सर्वलोकानां प्रकृतिं शास्त्रपारगाः तां धर्मचारिणीं शम्भोः प्रणमामि परां शिवाम् अमृतार्थं प्रपन्नार्तां यासु विद्याप्रदायिनी अहर्निशमहं वन्दे ताम् ईशानमनोरमां तदीचिम् उपमन्युञ्च मार्कण्डेयं पराशरं श्वेताचार्यं तच्छिष्यं नीलकण्ठशिवाह्वयं साम्ब शिवाय नमः देवदेव महादेव देवानां अभयप्रद ब्रह्मनारायणेन्द्रादि सर्वदेव पदप्रद. Thank you all for joining. Today I thought of taking a different topic because last 4 months I was touching upon the Shiva Paratva in Mahabharatam. So one would have checked the Upamanyu Maharshi playlist is available on the YouTube channel, and also how Lord Shiva is the hero of the Mahabharata war and not Krishna or Arjuna. So that playlist is also available in my channel, which is a very, very important part in the entire Mahabharatam. The Upamanyu Maharshi story comes as a part of the Anushasana Parvam, and the last 2 chapters of Drona Parvam talks about how Lord Shiva is the essence and how Lord Shiva is Paratparam and the supreme reality, and also how he was the one who helped Krishna and Arjuna in winning the war. So those lectures are available. So since we have Mahashivaratri coming up in 79 days, March 1st, so I thought of touching upon some of the Shiva Leelas. So one would have checked, I had given a Katha on Mahashivaratri for the year 2021 back on March 11th. So I've pasted the link, and I touched upon one of the important aspects of Mahashivaratri, where Mahadeva appears as an Agni Stamba and he crushes the ego of Brahma and Narayana. Though I have mentioned, though I have touched upon the Shiva Mahapurana, I have also given references from various Puranas, because this story is also spoken of in various Puranas. People have a misconception that it is spoken of only in the Shiva Purana, Linga Purana, Skanda Purana, but it is also spoken of in the Padma Puranam, Varaha Puranam, Narada Puranam. Even there is an indirect reference to that story in Bhagavatam and Matsya Puranam and Kurma Puranam, Brahmanda Puranam, Vayu Puranam, etc. So almost like 15 Puranas talk about that story of Mahadeva appearing as an Agni Stamba and crushing the ego of Brahma and Narayana. And so that is the significance of Mahashivaratri. But there is another story also, where when Mahadevi, Parashakti Mata, Parvati Mata and Parameshwara got married on that day. So usually if you go to the temples, during the Mahashivaratri, at 10 p.m. during that time, they do the Parvati Parameshwara Kalyanam, and then the Lingodbhava, they switch off all the lights, and at 12 p.m. they do Abhishekam, Rudra Abhishekam, they worship the Shivalinga, and the Parvati Parameshwara Kalyanam happens at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at that time. So, there are 2 stories. So since I have already touched upon that, story of Mahadeva appearing as an Agni Stamba, and what is its significance, how that Agni Stamba is actually present as the Sushumna Nadi. Sushumnaya Shivo Deva Idaya Devata Harihi Pingalaya Virinchihi. This reference comes from the Sutta Samhita, 2nd Canto, 11th chapter, 37th verse, which actually, that Agni Stamba, Mahadeva himself represents that Sushumna Nadi which is present within all the living beings. And then Ida and Pingala are to the left and right. So that Ida is actually Hari and Pingala refers to Virinchi, that is Brahma. So which very well fits the story of Mahadeva creating Brahma through his right limb and Narayana through his left limb. Narayana is to the left of Maheshwara and Brahma is to the right of Maheshwara. And then he creates Rudra from his heart. So which very well fits there is a very important significance. It is connected with our body also. So which is a very, very important story. So the other aspect is the marriage between the ultimate Jagannmata and Jagatpita. Jagataha Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwarau. They are the father and mother of the entire universe, including Devatas and Asuras, including Devatas like Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. Somah Pavate Janita Matinam, Janita Divo, Janita Pratubhyaha, Janita Agnir, Janita Suryasya, Janitendrasya, Janitota Vishnoho. So Soma is a very, very specific verse, that this verse comes as a part of Rig Vedam, 9th canto, 96th chapter, 5th verse. And also it is present in the Samavedam, Purvarchika and Uttararchika, 2 sections of the Samaveda. It comes twice in Samavedam. And also it comes in the Bhasmajabala Upanishad. The Upabrahmanam is also stated in the Brahmanda Puranam, where Parashakti and Paramashiva together, they beget everything, including the earth, Brahma, Agni, Surya and Vishnu. Everything, they beget. Namas Somayacha Rudrayacha. The 8th Anuvakam of Rudram also starts off by saying Mahadeva is Soma. So, they are the cause of the entire universe, including the Devatas, and there is nothing that is higher than Mahadeva. So that Mahadeva comes, and gets married to Parvati Mata. So that's another significance that is spoken of in the Mahashivaratri. So that story is detailed, I'll not be directly touching on that story. So we will go slowly. So how it all started off, as told in the Rudra Samhita of Shiva Mahapurana, how the creation started, and then Parashakti Mata appears as Sati in the house of Daksha, and then how Daksha is very, very arrogant, and how Sati Mata and Paramashiva gets married, and then Daksha conducts a big yajna, and then he fails to invite, out of Ahankara he fails to invite Parashakti and Paramashiva, who is the king of sacrifices, as the Vedas say, Avo Rajanamadvarasya. How can you discard the king and then do something of your own? And then his sacrifice perished, and then Parashakti appears as Parvati Mata, and then how Parvati Mata develops a Madhura Bhavam for Paramashiva, and then finally she gets married. So this entire story can be said in one-liner, it can be a one-liner as I just now mentioned, but so many things are there to learn. So that's what I'm planning to expand on for the next probably 2 or 3 months. We can take up some things, how we can see how, it is connected to the Upanishads and the Vedas, because the Vedas and Upanishads also do talk about the glories of Lord Shiva, how the characteristics and divine form of Lord Shiva alone. So that's the plan. Now, before further pitching on into the Shiva Mahapurana Katha, this I wanted to touch upon, because there is a huge misconception that is going on, and which many people have also emailed me and also posted in the comments in my videos. I had not given a detailed reply to that. So branding all the Shaivam, all the Shaiva Puranas, and branding whatever that is Shaivite as Tamasikam, which is very well, which is something that is, something talk that comes about Shiva. The next second they say, people, the Mahashiva Dveshis and Tamasika Mudas say, oh, Tamasikam. Okay. So in reply to that, so like they base off their reference from the Uttarakandam of Padma Puranam, picking those 2 chapters, but they don't realize that Padma Purana contains 55,000 verses, and it is one of the 18 Puranas. So the same Padma Purana talks a lot, before getting into that reference is not quite quoted by the Acharyas, but before getting into that, the same Padma Purana talks a lot about Shiva Paratvam. Srishti Kandam is there, Bhumi Kandam is there, Swarga Kandam is there, Pathala Kandam is there. There is so much that is spoken about Lord Shiva. Mahadeva being the ultimate. Shiva Gita also is a part of Padma Purana. Rama applying Bhasma all over his body and worshipping Lord Shiva. Krishna applying Bhasma all over his body and worshipping Mahadeva in Madhyameshwara in Kashi. Vishnu bathing and eating the Bhasma and getting initiation from Mahadeva into the Panchakshara Diksha, and also he gets the Bhasma Diksha from Mahadeva himself. And Shiva Gita is there, where Vishnu is described as searching for the feet of Mahadeva. He says, Varsha Koti Sagasram tu Sagasrabdair Atanvakam Bhaktya Sampujitopisha Padono Darshitastvaya. I have been searching for your feet for crores and crores of years, O Mahadeva. You have not manifested that to me. When can I see your feet? When can I have darshan of your feet? This reference comes from the Patala Kanda, 114th chapter, 189th and 190th verse. The same Purana talks about Vishnu, planning to even take off his own head for hearing something bad about Lord Shiva. That much amount of bhakti that Vishnu has for Lord Shiva. The same chapter talks about it. Vishnu is about to, suicide. He wanted to take off his own head for hearing something bad about Lord Shiva. And Brahma and Vishnu, including Lakshmi and Saraswati, are present as doorkeepers of the Parakailasha. So these kind of statements are also there. Many statements, we can keep on going. And Uttarakandam 175th chapter talks about Bhagavad Gita being Shiva Swarupa. The 5-headed, 10-handed form of Lord Shiva is actually the Sakshat Bhagavad Gita Swarupa, which also conveys the message that you can, even if you try to master the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita and discard Maheshwara, you can never understand Bhagavad Gita even in crores and crores of years, which is told by Krishna himself to his dear devotee Satyasanda. Mahadevam vinayomam bhajate shraddhaya saha nasti tasya vinir mokshaha samsara janma kotibihi. Oh dear Satyasanda, if a person worships me with faith, unflinching faith, discarding Maheshwara. Note the point. Discarding Maheshwara, if he worships me with unflinching faith, Shraddha, Nasti tasya vinar mokshaha samsara janma kotibihi. He is never going to get moksha even in crores and crores of births. Sutta Samhita, Yajñavaibhava Kandam Purva Bhagam, 25th chapter, 52nd verse. So that itself says, in the Bhagavad Gita is a Shiva Swarupa, is also, that story is also present in Padma Purana. So there are many references. Even 108th chapter of the Patala Kanda, 70th verse says that the 4 inhalings of Maheshwara is the entire lifespan of Vishnu. The 4 inhalings of Vishnu is the entire lifespan of Brahma, and the 4 inhalings of Maheshwara is the entire lifespan of Vishnu. The verse goes like Chatur Nishvasa Matrena Vishnor Ayur Udahrutam. The Ayu, the entire life of Vishnu, is the 4 inhalings of Maheshwara. So these kind of Shiva Paratva messages are also present, with no doubt, in the same Padma Purana, establishing Shiva as the ultimate reality. So we have to understand that. And coming to that specific 2 chapters, which are the favorite of the Tamasika Avaidika Moodas, who always state that for denigrating Lord Shiva and denigrating Shaivites. So those references are never quoted by any of the Purva, even some of the Vaishnava Acharyas, other Sampradaya Acharyas like the Sri Vaishnava or Madhva, who appeared before the 15th or 16th century, have not mentioned that verse. So those verses are, if you just read those chapters itself, the reason I'm talking about that in detail is that, if you bring the topic of something that is Shiva, then they say Tamasikam. So I thought, okay, I have to give a detailed reply before getting into the Katha of Shiva Mahapurana. So, those chapters, if you read that, only people with vested interests have interpolated those chapters, and there is no connection also between the previous and the next chapters. So that is an important point to be noted. And the same Padma Purana talks about the glories of Bhasma, Bhasma Diksha, Rudraksha, and those kind of things are also spoken of in the same Padma Purana. And also, so now coming to, that reference, but there are other references also stating that the Vaishnava Puranams are Tamasikam and the Shaiva Puranas are Shuddha Satvikam. So, which is quite authentic. Now, you might think, okay, this guy is biased. Okay, he says these 2 sections, these 2 chapters present in the Padma Purana cannot be, are interpolated, and how can this be authentic? Because this reference of the Shaiva Puranas being Shuddha Satvika and Vaishnava Puranams being Tamasikam has been mentioned by the great Shripati Panditaradhya who appeared in the 13th century. And also the Shankara Samhita has been very well quoted by many of the Advaitins and also even by Haradatta Shivacharya, many of the Shaiva Acharyas. So I want to discuss about that, where it says, it goes on, the Shankara Samhita, the Shankara Samhita, third Kanda, Sambhava Kandam, in the second chapter, the verses are from 45 to 50. So one can refer that. Dasha Shaiva Puranani Satvikani Vidurbudaha Shraddeyani Dvijavarehi Tesham Dharmastu Tatrayat Satvam Shuddham Samadishtam Sukajnanas Padam Tuyat Vidyopadeshta Yogibhyak Shuddha Spatika Sannivaha. He is Shuddha Sattva. Mahadeva is Shuddha Spatika Sankasham. He is camphor white and golden in complexion. If you type Lord Shiva in Google, mostly blue Shivas only appear, but Mahadeva is described as golden or white in complexion according to the Vedas and Upanishads. There is a place even in Padma Purana, it says, Gokshiram. He is milk white. He is milk white and camphor white. That's how he is described as Shuddha Spatika Sannibhaha. So this 10 Shaiva Puranams, out of the 18 Puranas, 10 Puranas are dedicated to Lord Shiva alone, and that is completely Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva, not just Sattva. Shuddha Sattva, which is beyond the three modes of material nature. Yash Shuddha Sattva te Brahmaloke to Parantakale Paramritat Parimuchyanti Sarve. That's what the Vedas say. Upanishads say. Mundaka Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Mahanarayana Upanishad. They just talk about this Mahadeva's Shuddha Sattva. He is beyond the three modes of material nature. He is not just Sattva. So that's how the 10 Puranas are classified. And then it goes on, and then Nanidrati Shivakwapi Brahmanah Brahmanadi Patik Shivaha Brahmadi Patir Brahmanodi Patir Brahma Shivo Me Astu Sada Shivom. He is the Lord of Brahmanas, and he is also the Lord of all the Varnas. There is no, distinction at the end of the day. So these Varnas are spoken of, that doesn't mean that a Brahmana is greater than a Shudra, or, it doesn't mean like that. Because the four, Brahmano Yamukamasid Bahura Janyah Kritaka Puru Tatasyagat Vaishyaha Padbyagam Shudro Ajayata, which means the Brahmanas originate from the face of Mahadeva, Kshatriyas originate from the hands of Mahadeva, and the Vaishyas originate from the thighs of Mahadeva, the Shudras originate from the feet of Mahadeva. That feet even Brahma and Narayana are searching for. Now, no one can say that, the Brahmanas are, the Shudras are lower or something, because we aspire to attain the feet of Mahadeva. So that Varnas are spoken of so that the duties are assigned to those people. But ultimately Lord Shiva is the Lord of all Varnas. Nandanar was the one who, won the heart of Lord Shiva in Chidambaram. He proved his devotion to Mahadeva. Kannappa Nayanar proved his devotion to Mahadeva, though they did not belong to Brahmin caste. So there is no distinguish. At the end of the day, there is no, distinction. But these Varnas are spoken of so that the duties are assigned to those people, those Varnas. And then Mahadeva is the Lord of all the Varnas. And now coming to the main point, Vaishnavani chachatvari tamasani munishvaraha kshatriyanam shruta dharmak teshu tadveta taddevata harihi tamah krishnam udasinam kutakritya Visharadaha nidralasya pramadadi panchada syatu tamasaha nidralasya pramadadyak tadgunah parikirtitaha Krishno Vishnu smritak sheshashayi bhakti vimokaha, which means that the four Vaishnava Puranams are actually tamasikam in nature. So the reference comes here in the Shankara Samhita Sambhava Kandam 2nd chapter 49th verse. So, Suta Maharshi says, conveys, Munis, who are sitting in front of me. The four Vaishnava Puranams are actually Tamasikam in nature. Vishnu Puranam, Garuda Puranam, Narada Puranam, and Bhagavata Puranam are actually Tamasikam in nature. And by reading them, it goes on to say that only laziness and sleep and hypocrisy, these kind of things people will think of, it will lead to laziness and sleep. and it will lead to hypocrisy. That's what it says, these references. And these references have been mentioned by Shripati Pandita Aradhya, authenticated by himself in the 13th, who appeared in the 13th century, which is very well authentic portion of the Shankara Samhita. And there are many references also. And Sutta Samhita goes on to say, Asti Rudrasya Viprendra Antah Sattvam Bahistamaha Vishnor Antastamah Sattvam Bahirasti Rajogunaha Antar Bahischa Viprendra Astitasya Prajapatehi. Now, Brahma, Narayana and Rudra are created by, Mahadeva. We saw that. Maheshwara, Samba Shiva is beyond the three modes of material nature. Upamanyu Maharshi says that. Dadichi Maharshi says that. Because Dadichi Maharshi, when he comes to the court of Daksha, he sees the sacrifices happening, but he did not see Parashakti and Paramashiva. Where is Maheshwara? I don't regard anyone who is greater than Maheshwara. And the Vedas say, Avo Rajana Madvarasya. He is the king, he is the Raja of all the sacrifices, and you're doing a sacrifice without inviting the Raja and Rani, the king and the queen. What is this? And then Daksha, he knew that he has not invited Maheshwara, but he will speak arrogantly. He will say, oh Dadichi, you see these 11 Rudras here in my sacrifice? They are sitting there. I know these 11 Rudras who have the Chandra and who have the Ganga on their forehead. But I do not know the personality that you are talking, a person named Maheshwara. I don't know who is he. No, he knows that, but he speaks in an arrogant way. So, which also distinguishes the 11 Rudras and Paramashiva. Many people have that misconception, the 11 Rudras are actually Lord Shiva. That is so very idiotic, because Mahadeva and the Samba Shiva and the Kala Rudras, the 11 Rudras are differentiated in the Vedas, Upanishads, Smritis, Puranas, Upapuranas, Itihasas, everywhere. So, and then Daksha will reply in that way, and Dadichi Maharshi will curse him that the Yajnam will not, attain completion. So, here the point to be noted is that the 11 Rudras are differentiated from Maheshwara. Even in Vamana Puranam, there is a reference. And by the way, that reference, Dadichi Maharshi's curse, that is present in Brahma Puranam and Vayu Puranam, it comes in the Shanti Parvam also of Mahabharata, 284th and 285th chapters. Now, another reference in Vamana Puranam where Parvati Parameshwara Kalyanam is spoken of, the 33 crore Devatas come and attend the marriage of Parvati Mata and Parameshwara. Among them, the 11 Rudras along with their 11 crore Ganas come. So, just imagine the 11 Rudras participating in the marriage of Parvati and Parameshwara. What does this say? The 11 Rudras are distinct from Parameshwara. The 11 Rudras are not Lord Shiva. They are Amshas of Mahadeva, but they cannot be the Supreme Maheshwara. That is one of the huge misconceptions that people have. So here the Sutta Samhita, coming to the Sutta Samhita reference, Brahma, Narayana and Rudra created by Mahadeva, Maheshwara, it says that Narayana, externally he seems to be Satvikam, but Bahirasti Rajo, he is the Bahirasti Tamasaha. Internally he is Tamoguna and Rajoguna. Whereas Kala Rudra, externally he is Tamasikam, but internally he is Satvikam, Shuddha Satvikam, he says. And ultimately Maheshwara is beyond Rudra, Vishnu and Brahma. Brahma, Narayana and Rudra are created by Maheshwara, and he is Shuddha Sattva. He is not the Tamas, the Sattva, Rajo and Tamo gunas do not touch Maheshwara. Mayam to Prakritam Vidyam, Mayinam to Maheshwaram. But Kala Rudra, coming to Kala Rudra, he just appears, he is the destroyer aspect of Paramashiva. He destroys the universe and merges back into Maheshwara. But Brahma and Narayana are Jivatmas, who are bound to destruction, who keep changing. So that's about it. That's the reference. And this reference is also present in the Shiva Dharmottara Purana and Shiva Mahapurana Rudra Samhita, section 1, chapter 9, verses 59 and 60. So one can refer that. So, all these things, why I was quoting is that, the branding of the Shaivam, whatever that is related to Shaivite, as Tamasikam is going on everywhere on the internet. So it's so very, atrocious. People with the Avaidika Moodas, Maha Shiva Dveshis, Shiva Dveshis only, because they are not interested in appreciating Shiva Paratvam. They also do not want to talk about Shiva Paratvam. They are always looking for denigrating Mahadeva and denigrating Shaivites. So that's the word to be used for them, Shiva Dveshis. So these references are very well there, and that, Padma Purana, as I mentioned, that references have not been quoted by any of the Purvacharyas before the 15th century. And the same Padma Purana talks about, as we discussed 10 minutes back, so many things are there about Shiva Paratvam. 55,000 verses, 20 to 30,000 verses talk only of Lord Shiva, the divine form of Lord Shiva, the divine form of Parvati Mata. Parvati Mata and Parameshwara blessing Rama, blessing Krishna, blessing Vishnu. These kind of things are told. And there are references, also I want to clarify, there are references where, Shiva glorifying Vishnu and Brahma. That only refers to Kala Rudra, that is not Mahadeva. Because Mahadeva himself says in the 247th verse, 114th chapter of Patalakanda Padma Purana, Dhyayena kinchit govinda nanamaskeha kinchana. Because there is a place where he goes and does Sandhyavandanam. He mutters his prayers. And then all the Devatas, Brahma, Narayana are confused. And then they go and ask Lord Shiva, what are, the entire Vedas and Upanishads are searching for your feet. And everything glorifies you only. And whom are you praying to? Please answer that, And Mahadeva replies, Dhyayena kinchit Govinda. Oh Govinda, I am not meditating on anybody. I am not worshipping anybody. I am not waiting upon anybody. I am not chanting the names of anybody. But I act as if doing this for the welfare of the universe. So other paths are also given by Lord Shiva only, so that every Jivatma cannot understand Lord Shiva. So, but the Mahadeva has the care for that, every soul, because every soul is has an eternal relationship with Lord Shiva. So Mahadeva cares for those Jivatmas, and then he, gives all other paths. So at least he can take up other paths like Gana, Patyam or Vaishnavam or Kaumaram, and then he can practice that for many, many lifetimes, and then he can come to Shaivam instead of taking atheism. I don't want my child to take up atheism. At least he can take up and worship another Devata and then practice that path, and then he can come to this path. So this shows Mahadeva is Karuna Sagara. Okay. So, and that's about those things. And whatever is, the Veda is the highest knowledge. Vidyasu Shrutir Utkrishta. Shruti means Shravanam. The sages, actually, they have heard the divine sound. That is the Veda, and they have given it to us. Shravanam. Shravanam means hearing. Shravanam Kirtanam Shambhoho. So the Vedas actually are the highest knowledge. There is nothing that is higher than the Veda. Now the Puranas, with the help of the Puranas only you understand the Veda, but Puranas do contain contradictory statements. So that should be understood. So everything should be looked from the Veda perspective. So the Puranas do contain contradictory statements. They help to understand what the Vedic hymns say and whom the Vedas glorify, but they also contain contradictory statements. So when it is contradictory to the Veda, the Purana Vakyams should be rejected. One example is that Bhasmadharanam, as we already know, Rudrakshadharanam is spoken of everywhere in the Upanishads. It does talk only of Bhasma, nothing else. Shirovratam, Shambhavam, Atyashramam, Pashupatam in the Atharva Shiras Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Kalagni Rudra Upanishad, Bhasma Jabala Upanishad, and Mundaka Upanishad. So these vratams are spoken of, which only means applying the Bhasma all over one's body, applying the Tripundra, wearing the Rudraksha, and meditating on the Supreme Maheshwara in the heart, engaging in hearing Shivakatha, engaging in doing Shivanama Sankirtanam. This is what it means. It's explained by Narayana to Narada in Devi Bhagavatam 11th canto. One can refer that. And one can, it goes on, Narayana goes on to say that the forehead has been created by the Creator like this. The forehead has been created like this to wear the Tripundra. Because, if you want to apply any other mark, Urdhva Pundra, your forehead would have been perpendicular. But it has been created like this, horizontal, to apply the Tripundra. That's why when you apply the 3 lines on the forehead, it completely fills the forehead. It's told by Narayana himself to Narada in Devi Bhagavatam 11th canto. I don't remember the chapter number, but one can refer that. The glories of Bhasma, Rudraksha are spoken of by Narayana himself to Narada Maharshi. So now, the Vedas, Upanishads do talk of only Bhasmadharanam. Now there are some later day Upanishads talking of, Urdhva Pundra. Those are later day Upanishads like Vasudeva Upanishad, Tulasi Upanishad, Tulasi, Gopi Chandan Upanishad. These Upanishads are never considered as authentic. Bhatta Bhaskara or even the Vaishnava Acharyas like Ramanuja, Madhva have not mentioned this. Or Shrikanta, the Shaiva Acharyas like Shrikanta, Renuka Bhagavat Pada, and Shripati Panditaradhya, Mallikarjuna Panditaradhya, Shankararadhya have not mentioned about these Upanishads. So the Vedas and Upanishads do talk about Bhasmadharanam and those kind of things, Rudraksha Dharanam and these kind of things only. Now if you find something in the Puranas that is contradictory, to the, so for example talking low of Bhasmadharanam, saying that Bhasmadharanam is Avaidikam, so which is very well contradictory to what the Vedas say, right? Because the Vedas talk of Bhasmadharanam. Now if you find a statement in the Puranas saying that Bhasmadharanam is Avaidikam, that portion should be rejected. Because that is contradictory to what the Vedas say. Then the Vedas talk about the Vedas talk of Atyashramam, Pashupatam, Shambhavam and Shirovratam. Now how can the Upanishads be Avaidika? Upanishads are the last part of the Vedas, right? So that's how we have to understand. The Veda is the highest knowledge. So the Purana was only one and it was divided into 18. So these kind of statements, talking about the Tamasattva, can be rejected. And we have a very authentic reference showcasing the Vaishnava Puranams as Tamasikam and Shaiva Puranams are Shuddha Sattvikam. And moreover, Shankara Samhita glorifies Lord Shiva alone completely, the entirety. If you see Padma Puranam, there are many references glorifying Lord Shiva. It is not just Vishnu. Whereas in Shankara Samhita, it is only Mahadeva. So that's about it. And regarding understanding how the Vedas with the help of the Puranas, I want to just give one sample example and then proceed with the Shiva Mahapurana Katha. So the Vedas we mentioned, the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which is a very important Upanishad. Now people try to again misinterpret this Upanishad, right, and saying that all the names can be applied to another Devata. It doesn't glorify Lord Shiva. So these kind of things are spoken of. Now there are various. This is where we have to understand properly. Shvetashvatara Maharshi is glorified as a Shiva Bhakta in Kurma Purana, Saura Purana, and also in the Shiva Mahapurana. So Kailasha Samhita of Shiva Mahapurana. And I don't remember the exact chapter numbers in Saura Puranam and Kurma Purana, but his presence is spoken of. He is a practicer of Atyashrama. He is described as Atyashrami. That's how he is described as. Which is what that Atyashramam word also comes in the 20th verse of the 6th chapter Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Atyashramebhyaha paramam pavitram. The holiest of the holiest practice is actually Atyashramam, which transcends, everything. Worshipping Mahadeva alone, Shiva Ekodhyayaha, discarding Brahma, Narayana and Indra, is the highest of all. So this piece of the Puranas talking of Shvetashvatara Maharshi as a Shiva Bhakta is very well, it sinks. So that portion should be accepted as authentic, which gives you the proof that Shvetashvatara Maharshi was a Shiva Bhakta. Upanishads indirectly glorify the Supreme Brahman. The Puranas give you the messages, various accounts of who Shvetashvatara Maharshi is. Kena Upanishad, Mahadeva comes as Brahman. Now there it doesn't say, if you see the 3rd and 4th chapter of Kena Upanishad, it doesn't directly say Mahadeva. It just says Brahman. Now who is that Brahman? So that person is actually eternally with Uma. So that piece of story is spoken of in the Shiva Mahapurana, Skanda Purana, where Mahadeva comes as Brahman and who is eternally with that Uma Mahaimavatim, who is eternally with that Parashakti. So this is how we have to understand and not misinterpret. Just having Shiva Dvesham in mind. So hope that gives an idea. And Vedas unanimously everything with no doubt glorifies Lord Shiva only. Be it Purusha Suktam, Purushova Rudraha, or Rudram, or Linga Suktam, Rudra Namaskritam, Rudra Suktam, Chamakam, Pancha Brahma Suktam, all the Upanishads and Narayana Suktam, which is also glorifying Mahadeva and Parashakti, which describes Narayana as the meditator and Parashakti and Paramashiva as the meditated, for which also there are supporting facts in the Shastras